All right, and next up we have Mr. Robert Thompson. Can we give him a round of applause for sharing his story today?
You look sharp tonight.
Doesn't he? He always looks sharp.
I got to class up somehow.
So first off, we need to give Robert a huge, big ol' thank you for coming out and being a presenter today. He is getting married next week in Maine. He's going to freeze, but he took time out of his wedding schedule to be here with us, and we appreciate that so much. Round of applause. Thank you so much, Robert. All right, so tell us a little bit about yourself. You've been a member since 2018, and what is it that you do?
I'm actually an appraiser.
You were an appraiser, so you're the one that's telling us if our properties are...
I'm the one that's giving you the ARVs, and with some of the lenders also telling you if you're paying too much when you buy it, and it's all beat up.
Fantastic. So I take it that you, when you're looking at properties, you're going through it with a fine-tooth comb or making sure that it makes sense?
Yeah, I'm all about the numbers. If the numbers don't work, the numbers don't work. And so I'm not the best at flying by the seat of my pants. It's like, no. And by the time I get to it and I'm ready to buy, somebody else has already decided they want it. So I'm usually coming in second or third place. And if they fall out, then I'm the one that steps up.
But that strategy has worked for you multiple times.
Yes, ma'am, it has.
So this particular property was one of the ones that you decided, hey, you know what, I'm going to move forward on, and it didn't require any rehab. So it's a duplex.
Yeah, actually the guy that I bought it from had rehabbed it about 2.5, 3 years before I bought it, and he just wanted to take his money and get out and move on. Mm-hmm. I bought the property, inherited a couple of tenants. They've subsequently moved on. I've got 2 new tenants, and I've had to spend a little money doing this and that over the few years I've owned it, but nothing major. It was already done.
So with the first 2 tenants that you inherited from the original owner, what rents were they paying? Were they paying market rents or below market rents?
No, they were paying a little below market rent. If I remember correctly, it was about $750 a side.
Okay.
This is a duplex. Mm-hmm. They're both 2-bedroom, 1-bath units.
Okay. And so then you were able to increase the rents.
Right, I increased the rents on them, and then when they subsequently moved out, the rents went up even further. So now the total rent on that's $2,100.
Okay, so that's always something to consider if you are purchasing a property that has existing tenants. Remember, the lease is going to survive the sale. So if they're whatever they're paying in rent right now is the price that you have to honor until their lease expires, at which point you can increase their rent, or if they decide to move out, you can increase the rent when you find a new tenant. Again, in the previous example, Adrian's entire property was completely vacant when she took it over, so she was able to price her properties from the get-go. You were inheriting existing leases.
Correct.
Robert, where's Universal City?
My property sits under the end of the runway of Randolph Air Force Base.
Northeast.
So every 5-10 minutes or so, you get to hear the sound of freedom.
All right.
But northeast San Antonio area, basically.
Okay.
But it's a beautiful property, so it already it's clean, it's functional, has appliances, looks like nice countertops, tile surround, painted, light fixtures. So this isn't one of the scary ones where you are having to take it down to the studs and reframe it or put every single thing in. This was literally you purchased the property and started cash flowing from day one.
Yes.
All right, so let's look at the numbers on this. Again, this one is a duplex. The appraised value was $230,000. Did the appraiser agree with that?
Yes, I did, but it doesn't matter whether I agree with it or not. My opinion didn't matter to the lender at that point.
Gotcha. And you were able to purchase it for $193,800. There was no rehab necessary, so your cash to pocket on this property was $28,000. Your rent you charge $24,000 in rent annually, which means that you were cash flowing $7,404 annually. So that is a 26.3% return and a $36,200 equity capture. And again, this was a no fuss, no muss, got the keys and started cash flowing because it already had tenants and it was already rehabbed.
Correct.
I mean, does it get any easier than that, guys? Who would like to purchase one of these? Just right out of the gate. Yeah, me too. But you do also have a large portfolio of other properties that are going to equate to about $560,000 in equity capture and a $34,708 annual cash flow on these properties. And Liz also has 5 additional properties in her portfolio.
Yes, yeah, we have an agreement. If I find something I really like and she decides she doesn't want to buy it, I'll threaten to, and then she'll buy it.
Okay, I like that
So it
agreement.
works out well.
Excellent. So, how has lifestyle kind of changed your outlook or how you're moving forward with investing since you joined, or have you kind of stayed on the same track since first investing?
When I got into appraisal, I got in on the commercial side, and I don't have $500,000 to go do something by myself. A friend of mine introduced me to lifestyles. I said, well, single family, we had just started doing appraisal work about 10 years ago in my company, and I realized, hey, this is bite size. I can do it. 20,000, 30,000, you can do it. Go to the next one, do it again, do it again, do it again. And so that's what it's done for me. The cash flow is great. I'm just letting it build back on itself. You look at that, it will buy me 1 or 2 a year just without having to add anything else to it. So that's very nice. But it's a retirement plan.
Absolutely.
Kids are already out of college, so I don't need to worry about it.
Excellent. And so you kind of gone back and forth. You have some properties that you've held in your portfolio for a while. You've sold some off and acquired additional ones. So is that just going to continue to be the trend, just to continue to do single family? Or are you planning on liquidating everything and going multifamily? Single family is so addicting. So
I call single family, it's like crack. It's quick, it's easy, it's a big hit, and then you go to the next one.
Exactly.
And that's what it is for me. I have trouble, I see a deal, it makes sense, it's great numbers, I want it. And if you're going to switch over and go to multifamily, you got to hold off on that a little bit. And I'm just not good at that.
Excellent. Excellent.
Hold on, can you go back to that slide? You took 40 grand and in 4 years turned it into $500,000
yeah.
bucks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you realize the power of real estate with that? I mean, that is, where else can you do that? And you've done that on 10 houses and 1 duplex. That's all it took.
Sold, I think, 3. I have to go back. It's sold either 3 or 4 houses. And took the equity of that, did it again. My best deal, I don't think, is showing there anymore. Yeah, it's not there. I had less than 5,000 in it. I sold it about 15, 16 months after I bought it, and I walked away with 50 grand from the title company.
1,000% return. And look how excited he gets.
Was that the Beer Can Palace?
That was the Beer Can Palace.
So we did do a case study on this a couple of years back. We called it the Beer Can Palace, and he had the original before pictures. And for whatever reason, the previous people that occupied the property collected empty beer cans, and it was like put up like like Legos.
It was in one of the bedrooms. It was about that high, and it was the son's bedroom. And he would lay on his bed, drink beer, and play video games. And when he's finished, he'd just throw it over and go to the next one.
It's a different kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, it was an interesting deal, and that was actually out of an estate, and they kept trying to say, "Do you want out of the contract?" Because it stretched out for about 4 months longer than it was supposed to be before I could actually buy it.
Yeah, but it worked out. Stay the
Patience
course.
paid off.
Patience, patience, patience. So, as always, you're going to continue to go on the single-family course and maybe consider moving into an IRO one day once you're off your crack habit.
Once I get rid of my crack habit, yeah, I'll look at that. I don't know. It's that I'm addicted to the houses is the problem.
Gotcha. And you use Rich Nunez for AMP lending. You use Rich all the time. He is fantastic.
Rich is my favorite guy. Anybody ask me who to use? It's Rich. He's
So
just
knowledgeable,
fantastic.
and he can make magic happen.
Yeah, the only problem with Rich is he'll call and say, "Hey, I need this piece of paper," and I'm going down the freeway at 70 miles an hour, and he doesn't understand. I can't pull over and get it for him right away. But I've had a couple of title companies tell me he never has brought anything to him that he hadn't closed.
I believe it. I believe it.
But yeah, I use him. I use Kevin for inspections. He's over there in the red shirt, and he's the only guy I suggest. So.
Absolutely. Very knowledgeable. Any questions for Robert? Yes.
So, since this was no rehab required, were you still able to do hard money and refinance, or just did it conventional?
I just went straight. There was no reason to go
Hold
hard
on,
money.
we got to repeat it. We got.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I'm so sorry. The question was, since there was no rehab required, did you go hard money and then conventional, or just straight conventional?
No, I just went straight conventional. There was no, I mean, I could have gone and done that and had less cash in the deal because of the relationship between I bought it for $193, it appraised out for $230, so I could have played all of that, but it didn't make sense to me. I had the money sitting in the bank. And at that point in time, I had a lot of cash I was trying to figure out what to do with. And wasn't ready to
Who
go to
wants to have that problem?
multifamily, so I went that way.
Great question, though. Any other questions?
Why a duplex? Was a duplex a big change for you?
Why a duplex? Because one of the lifestyles agent called me up and says, hey, I got a deal you're going to like. And the numbers made sense. I mean, actually, the numbers made more sense doing a duplex than doing single family. The numbers, as far as how much I had to put in and the price and everything, was about the same, as a little bit more expensive than the houses I was buying at the time, but the cash flow was a lot better. And, you know, if you have a tenant stop paying rent, you still got half of it coming in. I mean, on that one, it almost, one tenant's pretty close to paying the whole mortgage.
Yeah.
So
I do want to clarify that those are the numbers and why it made sense for this particular duplex. Please keep in mind, not all duplexes or fourplexes or triplexes are created equal, but for cash flow purposes, it made sense.
Can you go back to the slide that shows all my properties? Mm-hmm. Okay. If you will look, if you'll look at that and look at the comparison of cash flow versus the equity capture, on all of those, the big thing for me was equity capture. I didn't need the cash flow. I wanted the equity capture. And so that's why it's so heavy that side. Some people want cash flow. I wanted the equity capture so I could grow it. And that's why I got that 40 to 400 or whatever it was. I don't remember the exact number.
So now that you've dabbled onto the other side of high cash flow, do you like that?
It's nice, but all it does is build it up so I can go buy another one faster.
That's perfect.
That's what the crack's about.
That's the crack.
That's a hit of meth right there.
You got it.
Your pupils are a little dilated.
Yeah, well, you know, it's
Any
a
other
mess.
questions for Robert? Questions? Anybody online, Carl? Nope. All right. Well, thank you so very much, Robert. As always, I appreciate you. I'm like,